This is your Mining Disrupt news surge for Monday, September 8th, 2025. We are just a couple of months and a couple of days. It's just 2 months and 3-ish days away from the Mining Disrupt Expo happening in Dallas, Texas, right in the Irving area of Dallas, Texas, which is right outside the airport. You land, you get in an Uber, you get in a taxi, you're there in about 5 minutes. Before I go into the meat of this week's discussion, I need you to remember that this is where you come for entertainment and education, not financial advice. Don't hear what I'm about to say as financial advice, all right? You do your own work on that, talk to professionals. I'm not a professional in that regard at all, but you need to be aware of what's coming, okay? You really do. So we're going to get into that here in a second. Let me go over the numbers real quick. We're looking at a Bitcoin price of $110,000, just over. The priority and anytime fees are still in the single digits. We've got over 100,000 transactions in the mempool, which means things are happening right now. Things are moving. That's interesting. And we are looking at over 23,000 nodes right now online. Now, this tweet that I'm going to cover here is kind of right at the forefront of something that a lot of Bitcoiners are talking about right now. I listen to Jack Mallers' show every week. I listen to it usually a day or two late after he records it on Monday, but something that he is talking about is the rare earths. Rare earth minerals are predominantly coming to the US from China right now, something like 90%. The majority of them are mined in China, and if they're not mined in China, they get refined in China, which means that all of those rare earths that we need for weapons, we need for computers, we need for national defense reasons are coming from a country that we're on tenuous terms. Kind of good, kind of not good. It's not the greatest setup. And so we need the rare earth manufacturing to come here. Well, on that note, here is the White House. Please take note. This is from the official White House account. Okay, this is not some parody account. This is the official account blasting Jerome Powell for being too late. Too late is all it says. And then down below, real Donald Trump here saying, Jerome, too late. Powell should have lowered rates long ago. As usual, he's too late. And right now, the speculation is that there's going to be not one, but 2 rate cuts this year. We could see, this sounds completely outlandish, but we could see as much as 100 basis points. That would be monumental. There are so many things lined up for so much money to be printed. Insane amounts of money. I'm not talking about billions. I'm certainly not talking about millions. I'm talking trillions with a T. Now, why am I talking about all this money printing? What does that have to do for Bitcoin? Well, let's go over and take a look at what Macroscope 17 here. Great analysis, constant signal. Follow him. He says, gold is screaming to be long Bitcoin once this Bitcoin retracement is done. The last time this happened was below in April, right when he talked about it, April 21st here. Gold had just made a huge move from the 3,400, 3,500 area. During that same time, Bitcoin retraced from 109 to 75,000. Now, I'm going to pause there. Where were we just at a little while ago? 124,000. And we've come back down to 110,000. We've even dipped into 109,000 for a little bit there. That's wow. That's so reminiscent of what happened 6 odd months ago in April. The inflection point noted below was a positive divergence by Bitcoin from risk assets. Bitcoin then ran to new highs. Current timing unknown, and maybe a different inflection point. We'll see. The point here is that gold, being a larger market cap, being more global, being more known, being more historically the risk off asset that, okay, well, let's go and get into gold, I guess. I'm not sure what we're doing right now. That's what people are going into. Gold. It's a known thing. But Bitcoin is not far behind. Now, this next clip I'm going to play is more signal on this very thing. This is Eric Trump at the Meta Planet convention that they had here just recently over in Japan. And here he is talking about something that Bitcoiners have been saying time and time again as a benefit to Bitcoin over something that he knows a lot about, real estate. A huge benefit over real estate. Listen to this.
Look at what I do every single day. If you look at the hotels I build, if you look at the residential buildings that we do, If I want to sell one of those buildings, it can take me 18 months to sell one of those buildings, right? And there's very few counterparties on the other side, that have the ability to buy. You look at Bitcoin as an asset, it's truly one of the greatest stores of value. If at 11 o'clock at night on a Saturday night while having dinner with my wife, I wanted to transfer X number of dollars of Bitcoin, I have the ability to do it. It can't be taken by any government, it can't be stolen, it's safe. It's not the product of fraud and abuse within kind of financial systems, within banks. It's the ultimate global asset. And that's why I fell in love with it. And I can tell you...
This is something Bitcoiners have been talking about. But the important part here isn't that he's saying something that Bitcoiners have talked about. It's that this is the president's son. This is one of the president's sons talking about Bitcoin in a way that you would have never, ever thought of 2-3 years ago. I mean, even a year ago, before Trump got elected, it was kind of unheard of. Yeah, he'd gone to the Bitcoin conference, Trump that is. Yeah, it seemed like he was just doing it for votes. But here is Eric Trump at Metaplanet wearing a Bitcoin logo on his... You might just say it's just for money. But isn't that kind of the point? Because Bitcoin is money. And if he's talking about how at 11 o'clock at night he can go and move some around, you can't do that with a massive skyscraper. You can't even do that with a single family home. You can't even do it with a studio apartment. It takes time, months, and paperwork and all this. Bitcoin, the most global thing that humanity has ever encountered. The best form of money that we have ever found. So this is all to say that there are so many signals pointing in the direction of Bitcoin going so much higher than where it is right now. I've got one more thing to say. I'm making the prediction right now. You will already have known the news by the time that you watch this, but I'm making the prediction as I record this on Friday that MSTR will, yes, will be included in the S&P 500. Why? Because of things like Eric Trump just said there. I think that the powers that be want things to start moving toward a Bitcoin-aligned future. We'll see if I'm right, but I do think we are entering a very new and wild monetary order. I'll see you in Dallas in November, and I'll see you right here next week.